Welcome back to Nina Eloras. This is episode 9. Today is a conversation with my brother. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to whom? We don't know, but whatever. Tonight is a family affair, or sort of, because my brother is joining me and may or may not have forced him to do it. Ciao, Franci.
Hi Laura. Ciao Laura.
Okay. Allora, that's the Italian for so. Here's what I keep turning over in my head. 2 kids, same house, 7 years apart, and somehow, and I want to underline somehow, both of them grew up to do essentially the same thing with their lives, which is help others become the best version of themselves. My brother does it with young athletes, and I try to do it with whatever it is that I do when I don't fail miserably, like recently or whatever. No, it's okay, I don't. But still, what I'm trying to say is that the instinct is the same, and it's just maybe pointed in 2 different directions. I'm not going to sit here and dissect the house we grew up in tonight. We'll be gentle about all of that, and it's not tonight's story anyway. But I find it generally remarkable that whatever our beginning was, it produced 2 people who dedicate their lives working for others. Maybe we got this from our mom, who was a nurse. Go figure. So you have to know, my brother can take a kid and build them into someone. Someone who tries, who has purpose, and even succeeds. I want to pull that gift out into the open. When I saw your post, Franci, on Insta the other day, I had this idea. Because you wrote a whole article that was published about all the work that you do and how coaching affects it, or influences it, I should say, and so on. So now I want you to have the chance to talk about this. Let's have a chat. Tell everyone who you are and what you actually do, and how a kid from where we're from ends up coaching at the national level.
Okay. I'm Francesco, your brother, and I'm tempted to say it was by chance, or perhaps more simply, that's just how it was meant to go. I grew up in a place where big opportunities didn't simply arrive. You had to create them. Volleyball became the language through which I learned about people, leadership, and responsibility long before it became my profession. Over the years, my journey has taken me from coaching local youth teams to working within the Italian national team pathway. But if there's one thing that has never changed, is the belief that coaching is not about producing better volleyball players first. It's about helping young people to be the best one can be.
Nice.
Today, I divide my time between coaching, leading technical projects, mentoring coaches, and designing environments where athletes and staff can grow together. Whether I'm a national team gym or in a small local sports hall, my goal is always the same. To be the culture where learning matters more than ego, where curiosity beats certainty, and where every person feels responsible for the development of the group.
That's nice. Okay, so what do you think volleyball gave you that some other sport would have not been able to give you?
I'm not sure I can honestly say that volleyball gave me something no another sports could have. I believe it was simple alchemy, chemistry, something that sparked with me only through playing the sports. But I think it works the same way for each of us, whatever our passion may be. My guess is that this can happen through many different passions. For someone else, it may be music, art, climbing, or another sport entirely. What matters isn't an activity itself, but the connection you build with it. Volleyball happened to be the connection for me. It gave me a place where I could express myself, keep learning, and eventually discover that coaching was the way I wanted to contribute to the other people's lives.
Right, right, exactly. Just the same feeling as I have for what I do when I want to contribute to other people's lives. And so when you meet a new kid, what are you really looking for? Or what's the difference between a talented kid and one who actually becomes good? What do you, I don't know, maybe like, what do you say to a kid in the exact moment when they're losing or they want to quit? How do you build a kid up without turning them into someone who can't take a loss?
Oh, it's more difficult and simple at the same time. First, there is a part of my job that clearly involves recognizing talent, whatever form it takes, and seeking to nurture it, put it to the test, and find the right context for it. And then there's me, and my job isn't just to find the best player, it's to help every player become the best version of themselves. And talent gives you possibilities. Learning turns those possibilities into reality. The athletes who became truly good are rarely the ones who always succeed. They are the ones who know how to fail, reflect, adapt, and come back. Improvement isn't linear. The kids who understand that usually go much farther than the ones who rely only on talent. Usually, very little, I try to say exactly what I believe, and I think that is what makes the difference. The truth of how things are and what one feels. People don't learn much when emotions are at their highest. My first responsibility is to help them feel safe enough to experience disappointment without believing that disappointment defines who they are. Later, when emotions settle, we can reflect together. I don't want them to avoid failure. I want them to understand that failure is information, not identity. By praising effort honestly and learning not outcomes, confidence shouldn't come from always winning. It should come from knowing that whatever happens, you have the tools to keep growing. I don't want athletes to think they are special because they win. I want athletes who know they're resilient because they have learned how to lose, adapt, and keep moving forward. And above all, something I say ever often these days, never forget that it is a game. And as such, it is played for fun.
That is correct. So it's a game, and as such, it has to be played for fun. And here's the thing, I looked it up because that's what I do. And there's a whole pile of research on what sport actually does for a developing kid. And you think the answer is fitness, discipline, whatever. But the finding that stopped me is this: the magic isn't the sport itself, it's the coach. A good relationship with a coach is one of the strongest protective factors a kid can have. It doesn't just make them perform better, it makes them more resilient. And it shields them from stress and burnout. And let me say it, sometimes even stress that they bring from home. So, sport is the hook, the belonging, the stable place, the one adult who believes in you. And for a kid who needs that, it can be a genuine refuge. A real protective wall against everything hard in their life. That's what sport and a good coach can be for them. And the skills don't stay on the field, they walk into the rest of the kid's life and they stay there. So, when you talk about building these kids, do you feel that? That for some of them, you might be the steady thing?
I think coaching comes with a responsibility that goes far beyond teaching volleyball. For some kids, a coach may become one of the few consistent adults they see every week. That's not something to take for granted, and it's certainly not something to seek. It's something to honor. I don't think my role is to become the center. My role is to create an environment where they feel safe, respected, challenged, and listened to. If through that environment a young athlete finds stability, confidence, or simply one adult they know they can trust, then that's meaningful. But the goal is never to make them depend on me. The goal is to help them become independent, to think for themselves, make their own decision, and eventually need me less and less. That's when I know I've done my job well.
You did. You did. You've done your job really well. You know, I think about this sometimes, and I'll say it fast because it's just a wondering, not a thesis. There's real science that what happens in a mother's body during pregnancy, the stress, the chemistry, can actually reach the baby. And you came into this family 7 years before I did. A different moment with a different mother in a way. And I'm not saying that explains who either of us became. Nobody knows that. But I always wondered about it. Because, you know, like I said earlier, 2 kids, same house, and yet different nervous systems, but with the same goal to help others. So maybe, who knows? Maybe there's something in the chemistry from when we were born. Anyway, so the research says the thing that makes sports save a kid is having just one adult who's steady, who believes in them, who gives them a place to belong and permission to fail and get back up. One adult. That's it. And that could be the coach. So that's the whole protective factor. And I got to grow up watching my brother become that adult for hundreds of kids by now. Whatever we came from, wherever we started, he turned himself into the safe, steady presence in a young person's life. That's not a job, I don't think. That's a calling. And it's the same one I ended up answering, just in a different room. So thank you for coming, brother.
Thank you for this, Laura.
That's everything for now from Night Night and Laura's. Go be someone's steady adult this week. Buonanotte and good night.
Good night.